will towards the military, so it doesn't bother me to sit with them. We know that you have become a true humanitarian through Buddhism and meditation. The idea of love, tenderness, metta carries your message. You said not only should one speak only the truth, one's speech should lead to harmony. It should be kind and pleasant, and it should be beneficial. No bitterness, no animosity. Only a true champion for mankind can behave like this. We must also remind one another of what fear is when we are here today. And that is counterpart, and the counterpart is hope. In your essay, Freedom from Fear, you write, within a system which denies the existence of basic human rights, fear tends to be the order of the day. Fear of imprisonment, fear of torture, fear of death, fear of losing friends, family, property or means of livelihood, fear of poverty, fear of failure. But rulers also feel fear. They are not as powerful as they might appear to be. They get up every morning afraid of the people, because deep down they know that there are things greater than fear. For example, hope and courage. This is the reason why every dictatorship has been teared down. The fear of the fearlessness of the people is so great that control of the people is preventing the innovation and dynamic needed in every society. And the lack of control over the elite leads to corruption and the abuse of power. So the combination of control of the people and the lack of control of the elite leads to misrule and stagnation, and ultimately very often revolutions. So consequently, the democracies of the world should not despair today when they see authoritarian regimes outpacing their economic growth. This is temporary. The regimes will be broken apart by inner contradictions if they do not reform themselves. The democracies will always find new paths. The democracies have come out winners in history because the people can elect new leaders when the old one failed. And democracies are peacemakers. Democracy creates fraternity across national frontiers and within nation states. This was probably what Alfred Nobel understood, and for that reason he wrote in his last will that the Nobel Peace Prize should be awarded to the one, and I quote, who shall have done the most or the best work for fraternity between nations. That was one of the three criteria for the Nobel Peace Prize. Few people meet this criterion better than you, Aung San Suu Kyi. A true fraternity among all ethnic groups in Burma and the neighboring countries starts with free elections, free people. Few believed that the dissolution of the military junta and the appointment of Thein Sein as president just over a year ago would have brought such major change.
이거 베이스 로이 한번 베이스 해보자. 베이스 해보자. 알레브라. 바로.
Your Majesties, Your Royal Highness, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, now I have the pleasure to invite the Nobel Peace Prize laureate of 1991 to come forward to give us her lecture. We do not have a gold medal because it was received by your son Alexander in 1991, but I'm sure that your words to us today will be written in gold. Please.
Majesties, Your Royal Highness, Excellencies, distinguished members of the Nobel Committee, dear friends. Long years ago, sometimes it seems many lives ago, I was at Oxford listening to the radio program Desert Island Disc with my young son Alexander. It was a well-known program. For all I know, it still continues, on which famous people from all walks of life were invited to talk about the 8 discs, the one book beside the Bible and the complete works of Shakespeare, and the one luxury item they would wish to have with them were they to be marooned on a desert island. At the end of the program, which we had both enjoyed, Alexander asked me if I thought I might ever be invited to speak on desert island discs. Why not? I responded lightly. Since he knew that in general only celebrities took part in the program, he proceeded to ask me with genuine interest why I thought I might be invited. I considered this for a moment and then answered, perhaps because I'd have won the Nobel Prize for Literature. And we both laughed. The prospect seemed pleasant, but hardly probable. I cannot now remember why I gave that answer. Perhaps because I had recently read a book by a Nobel laureate, or perhaps because the desert island celebrity of that day had been a famous writer. In 1989, when my late husband Michael Ayres came to see me during my first term of house arrest, he told me that a friend, John Finnis, had nominated me for the Nobel Peace Prize. This time I also laughed. For an instant Michael looked amazed. Then he realized why I was amused. The Nobel Peace Prize, a pleasant prospect, but quite improbable. So, how did I feel when I was actually awarded the Nobel Prize for Peace? The question has been put to me many times, and this is surely the most appropriate occasion on which to examine what the Nobel Prize means to me and what peace means to me. As I have said repeatedly in many an interview, I heard the news that I had been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize on the radio one evening. It did not altogether come as a surprise, because I had been mentioned as one of the front runners for the prize in a number of broadcasts during the previous week. While drafting this lecture, I've tried very hard to remember what my immediate reaction to the announcement of the award had been. I think I can no